Alright, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can get your Bluetooth device name to show up in your custom app when you are connected to it. This will involve Tasker as well as AutoTools. I do have another project I'm working on that'll be available sometime in the future. I don't have an exact end date, and I'll talk more about that in a second. So I have two devices that I'll be connecting to my device using Bluetooth, and one of them is a JBL Bluetooth waterproof speaker, and then we also have an LG headset that I use when I exercise. So I'm going to connect the JBL speaker first. So notice we did have a flash down here at the bottom. I have Tasker showing that, and then this did change. Connected Bluetooth devices Flipcraft. Whereas before I had no Bluetooth devices connected to my phone. Now let's do the LG headset. You're not going to be able to hear this one cut on. It's just a little headset. So maybe you did see that flash down there. Bluetooth change detected, and now we have the LG headset showing up. Now, whenever I cut these off, they should be removed from the list. So I'm going to cut off that LG headset. And as you can see, it did get removed. Same thing for the JBL speaker. And when it does that, it goes back to no Bluetooth devices connected. Now, before I dive into the tutorial, let me explain to you why I'm working on another project for Bluetooth devices. I actually have my Samsung Gear Fit sports watch connected to my device as well, and that's connected through Bluetooth, but AutoTools does not recognize it as being connected. It has something to do with the actual type of connection that it is, so I wanted to point that out. I do have a Gear Fit watch connected to my device right now, but that does not get registered in AutoTools. But the headsets, the speakers, your traditional Bluetooth devices, those have worked just fine for me. So heading into Tasker, I have a project set up, and you can get this project from my Tasker files, and it's this Bluetooth device right down here. So inside of this project, we have two profiles. We want to recognize when a Bluetooth device is connected and when a Bluetooth device is disconnected. I'll go over those little pieces right here in a second. But regardless, whenever either one of these profiles get triggered, we're going to trigger this task right here, Bluetooth device connect or disconnect. And you can see that it's actually triggering that task there for that one and this one right here. So the Bluetooth device connected. If you come down here to the plus and you add an event, when you do that, it's going to ask for an action, and you want to type this in right here. Basically what this will do, it will be triggered, or the profile will activate whenever a Bluetooth device is connected. Nothing else to really change here. And then back in this other one, this is also an event, and this is going to be triggered when a Bluetooth device is disconnected. And again, you want to be triggering that same task, Bluetooth device connect or disconnect. And here's that task right here. So if we open this up, not very long. Now, I had this set here to wait 5 seconds. Now, you may not have to do this on your device. I chose to wait just a few seconds to make sure that it's truly connected, and then it would start running the rest of this task. So once we wait for 5 seconds, we want to do an AutoTools connectivity, and here's the configuration for this particular piece of the task. Inside of here, if we go to Bluetooth, we want to check this box here, check Bluetooth devices. Don't worry about the name, the address. Come down here to connection status. I have just connected checked. That way it's only going to be returning the connected devices. That's all we need to do in this spot. And just checking on that, notice we have check Bluetooth devices true. That was that box we checked. And then the other box we checked was connection status. We only want to see the connected one. Now, what this is going to return to you automatically is going to be a JSON string of Bluetooth devices. And this is the variable that we can access. Should we get errors, you can access those there. Now we're going to go ahead and test this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut these pieces off. So I have these 4 pieces of my task cut off. I'm just going to add a new flash real quick, just for teaching purposes. And the flash that I want to see is the Bluetooth devices, that variable that I just showed you a moment ago. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and cut off this wait as well. That way we can just run this piece and this piece. So if I play this, we don't get any results because nothing is connected to my device through Bluetooth. except for my Gear Sport watch, and I mentioned earlier that I cannot get that one to work using AutoTools. So what I did then, I just paused the video real quick and I quickly connected my JBL Bluetooth waterproof speaker. And if I run this task again, it's going to run this one, and then it should show the Flipcraft. As you can see, it does show it right there. So now that we got the AutoTools connectivity out of the way, this part here is just going to flash. It's like a way of telling you, hey, you have a Bluetooth device change. You can change that to whatever you want. And then inside of here, AutoTools JSON read. Back here in the AutoTools connectivity, this variable here, the one that's going to show our Bluetooth devices, is a JSON string, and we can use AutoTools JSON action to get the info. So backing out of here, I'm going to go ahead and cut this one on, and let's look at the configuration for this one. So inside of here, I didn't change the input format. Simple mode is checked. The JSON string or URL you want to get the value of, that is going to be that variable that's getting returned as a JSON string. The field that we want to get. Now, a moment ago when it did flash Flipcraft, there was one part of that JSON string that we wanted to access, and it was the name of the Bluetooth device. So if I go to fields, notice I have name and I'm putting 2 parentheses here. That way we can get a list of values for this field, such as when you have more than one Bluetooth device connected. So by using parentheses, we'll get an array of values here. Pressing OK on that. I didn't change anything in here, nor here, nor here, here, or here. But underneath advanced, I didn't change the variable name, but for the separator, I left it as a comma. It's going to separate each device with a comma. Should one of your devices have a comma, you need to pick a different separator. But this one right here works just fine for me. So if we back out of here, checking this box up here, let's make sure we understand what's happening. Simple mode is true. The JSON string getting returned to us is that Bluetooth devices that we talked about in the AutoTools connectivity. The field that we want is going to be name with the parentheses, and we're going to separate those values with the comma. Now the field name in the actual JSON is name, and then we can access those values by accessing this variable right here. Backing out of here. And I tell you what, before I actually cut on anything else, let me run this one more time because I want you to see quickly that we do have this variable here returning a JSON string, and I'm going to point out that name field that we want to access real quick. You see that right there? It was name and then it was Flipcraft beside it. That's what we want to access in that JSON string. Now, I'll tell you what, I'm going to test that. So I'm going to cut this one on. That's that variable that we are getting from the JSON read. Notice %name with parentheses. So I'm going to flash that. I'm going to cut this one off now. And what this should return to us is just the Flipcraft. So let's play this. Flipcraft, perfect. Now I'm going to connect my LG headset one more time. Just give me 1 second. So with it connected, I'm going to run this task again, and we should see 2 names down here separated by a comma, as you can see right there. Perfect. So now we're ready to send this information over to KLWP. I'm going to cut this flash off. I'm going to cut the wait and the send variable back on because this is the only pieces I really want to run. This was just for testing purposes. So this KLWP send variable, now if you're using KWGT or something else, make sure you do the right app for the send variable. And if we go to the configuration here, check out the tasker string, %name with the parentheses. We're going to send over those list of names separated by commas to our custom app, and the custom variable I'm calling it is Bluetooth. And if you've done all of these things, you are ready to go into your custom app and get it set up on that end. So backing out of here, applying my check in tasker, now let's jump into custom. So this component that I'm using in custom is called Bluetooth device. You can get this from my free components folder. If we jump into that component, we head over to globals. We have 2 globals that I'm using here. One global is just allowing me to grab that list of device names. I called it BT for Bluetooth. This is a text global variable, and basically I'm broadcasting for Tasker, and I'm using that custom variable name that I gave it just a moment ago. We called it Bluetooth. Notice we're getting a list of names separated by a comma. Then I have this other text global variable here called devices. Now I only want this to show if I have some devices connected. And you'll see how I do that right here in a second, because if you recall, when nothing was connected, we had some different text showing, and I think it said no BT devices connected or something like that. So this text global is simply connected BT devices, and then we're doing a regex on this. And let me show you how that regex works. So I'm going to access that global from Tasker that I've sent over to Kustom, and then I gave it its own variable name inside of Kustom, and that was KWGT. So this is going to be that list of devices that I have connected. Now what I chose to do here is I chose to look for commas, and I'm going to replace those with new lines. That way each device will have its own line to show up on. Here's how I did that. First of all, tcreg with a comma. Then after that GVBT, I'm going to put another comma, and in quotations, this is telling Kustom what to look for. It's going to look for a comma, and what do we want to replace it with? Well, I'm going to put a comma, quotation, press enter, and then put another quotation. And now if I close all this up with the parentheses, and now that I've done it this way, remember we had a list. It was Flipcraft, comma, and then this LG headset. Well, it's searching for that comma, and it's going to replace it with this enter, this line return, this new line that I did from this line to this line. So every single device will show up on its own line. So checking on that, let's head on over to the items and let's go to the text. Nothing too crazy here, but let's see how I'm getting it to show no BT devices connected versus some devices showing up. So basically, if AutoTools is not detecting any devices, that variable that I'm sending over, its length is going to be equal to 0. There's going to be no characters because we don't have any devices connected. No names, no letters, no nothing. So if the length of that variable is 0, then I'm going to assume nothing's connected. So I want to show no BT devices connected. However, if the length of that variable that I'm sending over from Tasker to Kustom, if it's not equal to 0, then I'm going to have some devices connected, and I want to show that other text global GV devices. And if you had that set up correctly, this is how we can alternate back and forth between some connected devices versus no connected devices. So saving that and coming back to the home screen, I'm just going to cut both of these off again, just so you can see that it's going to switch to that no Bluetooth devices connected. Cutting off the speaker. So we had the Bluetooth change detected, and it may take a second for it to go away, but it did. And now I'm going to cut off my LG headset. Bluetooth change detected, and now we have no Bluetooth devices connected. And there you have it, a way to show the name of your Bluetooth devices using your Kustom app and Tasker. And again, the one downside to this, I cannot get my Gear Fit watch to show as connected. Again, I think it has something to do with the actual type of connection. I could be wrong there. If you have any suggestions for that, leave a comment below, as well as any questions, please leave those below as well. And that's it for this video. I hope it helped.